Bulgaria is a small country in southeastern Europe that has a rich 13 centuries old history and exceptionally beautiful nature. Its location on the Balkan Peninsula has played an important role in its development throughout the ages, because key land routes linking Europe and the Middle East have been crossing the country since ancient times. Thus, Bulgaria is a popular destination for history lovers. The Bulgarian lands are ancient crossroads. They remember many ancient civilizations and great peoples which wrote the pages of Bulgaria's turbulent history. Bronze and iron spears and arrows, ruins of palaces and cities, and wise words carved on rocks and stone columns. The Thracians left us the famous tombs near Kazanluk and Sveshtari, and the unique gold treasures from Panagurishte and Rogozan. The ancient Greeks built the beautiful coastal towns of Apollonia, Anchialu, and Mesembria, and the Romans the ancient Escus and Nicopolis ab Istru. Later, numerous other tribes passed through our lands. In the 6th century, the Slavs settled on the territory of modern Bulgaria. They were followed by the Bulgars of Hanos Baruch, a semi-nomadic people from Central Asia, who came to these lands and gave rise to the First Bulgarian Empire in 681 AD. Bulgaria's old capitals, Pliska, Preslav, and Veliko Tarnovo, have been the face of the state since its creation. They witnessed both times of greatness and periods of obscurity during different eras of the historical development of the country. Rich in archaeological, historical, and cultural monuments, the old Bulgarian capitals are a bridge between our country and the European cultural heritage. Pliska is the name the Bulgars gave to the first capital of their new state. Reviving the traditions of their predecessors, they erected a monumental city. Remains of the most impressive buildings have survived until present. The large basilica, the two palaces, and the throne room from the second half of the 9th century. Pliska is now a national archaeological reserve. Simeon I the Great ruled over Bulgaria from 893 to 927 during the First Bulgarian Empire. Simeon's successful campaigns against the Byzantines, Magyars, and Serbs led Bulgaria to its greatest territorial expansion ever, making it the most powerful state in contemporary Eastern Europe. His reign was also a period of unmatched cultural prosperity and enlightenment, later deemed the golden age of Bulgarian culture. It took Tsar Simeon 28 years to establish and build up the second Bulgarian capital, Preslav, so that to correspond to the prosperity and upsurge of the Bulgarian state, the conversion to Christianity, and the creation of the Slav script and culture. As in the first Bulgarian capital, Pliska, two fortress walls surrounded the city. With its splendor and rich decorations, the inner city, housing the palace complex and the famous Golden Church, demonstrate the power and confidence of the Bulgarian rulers. Veliko Tarnovo was the capital of the Second Bulgarian Empire. If you should happen to visit this unusual city whose stone houses seem perched one above the other on the steep bank of the Yantra River, you will first be taken to see Tsarevets, the place of the patriarchal church and royal palaces, the hill where Baldwin's tower still rises, linked with the legend of the Latin Emperor Baldwin of Flanders, who was captured by the Bulgarian king Kauyan. Then you will be shown another hill, Trpezica, where the foundations of 17 medieval churches were discovered. You will marvel over the Bulgarian National Revival period architectural ensembles on Gurku Street and the Saint and Saint Constantine and Helen Church. The original Samovedene market has been brought back to life, and, as in olden times, you can see skillful craftsmen fashion and sell exquisite objects in the small restored workshops. The rich history of Bulgaria is revealed in the numerous museum towns scattered across the country. They still keep the heritage of the Thracians, Greeks, and Romans who have lived on this territory, as well as of our own ancestors from more recent times. Among the most notable examples are the antique theatre in Plovdiv, the Byzantine churches in Nisebor, and the houses from the National Revival period in various locations. Although we call these towns museums, they are full of life, harmony, and beauty. An ancient crossroad between the east and the west, and Bulgaria's second largest city today, Plovdiv has preserved unique treasures from its 60 centuries long history. Evmopia, the city of the ancient Thracians, Philippopolis, the city of Philip II of Macedon, the Roman Trimontium, the city of the Three Hills, and Old Plovdiv, a picturesque architectural National Revival period ensemble fashioned by the generous talent, heart, and mind of the Bulgarian masters. From the city's ancient buildings, the city forum, the stadium, the amphitheater, basilicas, houses, and administrative buildings, today remain mostly fragments, columns, mosaics, and street pavements. The 2nd century antique theater, however, has been completely restored and performances are again presented there. The old town of Plovdiv is the center of Bulgarian National Revival architecture at its height. The Bulgarian National Revival, sometimes called the Bulgarian Renaissance, was a period of socio-economic development and national integration among Bulgarian people under Ottoman rule. It is commonly accepted to have started in 1762 and lasted until the liberation of Bulgaria in 1878 as a result of the Rus-Turkish War. The period is remarkable for its characteristic architecture. Developing in a natural way, the Bulgarian building traditions form the core of the city, around which the new styles of the time evolved. This becomes evident when one looks at the Georgiadi House, the Kuyumchilku House, today's ethnographic museum, the Balabanov House, or at the Afons de Lamartine Museum House, where the French poet lived for a few months. With multicolored facades, yoke-shaped bay windows, abundant decoration, and lavish furnishings, softly colored silhouettes and carved ceilings, Plovdiv's 2- and 3-story houses are as eye-catching as ever, fairly resembling small palaces. During the National Revival period, many churches were built. Such are the 3-nave basilical churches, Saint Nedelya and Saint Peter, the Saint Constantine and Helen Church, and the Saint Marina main metropolitan church. Situated on a small peninsula in the immediate vicinity of the large seaside resort of Sunny Beach, one of the oldest towns in Europe, still keeps the spirit of different ages and peoples: Thracians, Greeks, Romans, Slavs, Byzantines, and Bulgarians. Nesever is sometimes said to be the town with the highest number of churches per capita. Although this might not be true, their number and variety is impressive. The old bishopric, or the Church of Saint Sophia, is in an early Byzantine style, 4th-5th century. The new bishopric, Saint Stephen, contains valuable 12th century murals, and the Christ Pantocrator and Aliturgetus churches, 13th-14th century, are among the best preserved until today. Nesever's National Revival houses with stone foundations and broad wooden eaves, overhanging narrow cobbled lanes leading right into the sea, are also remarkably beautiful. Bujenci is an idyllic village nestling in the folds of the Balkan Range, 16 kilometers from the town of Gabrovo, which time seems to have lulled to sleep centuries ago. As if 200 years ago the shutters of the St. Elijah Church and the workshops have been closed, the blacksmiths have stopped hammering, the hearts have gone out along with the well on the square, only to come back to life today. For several decades now, UNESCO has been putting enormous efforts into its attempts to preserve the planet's most valuable cultural heritage. Several Bulgarian landmarks are part of the UNESCO list of World Heritage. The Bujana Church is located at the foot of the Vitusha mountain in the Sofia suburb of Bujana. This medieval church carefully protects its precious treasure, its 750 years old frescoes. Even today, more than 7 centuries later, these murals still stun visitors with their beauty, expressiveness, and lifelike expressions. Along with the figures of saints and martyrs, the artist Zugrav Vasily has painted the figures of the church patrons Koyan and Desislava and of the royal couple King Constantine and Queen Irina. These genuine masterpieces of 13th century painting, created 200 years before the European Renaissance, denote a remarkable peak in Eastern Christian art. The Sashtari tomb is located near the town of Razgrad in a region declared an archaeological reserve. 2,300 years ago, master stonemasons erected the tomb of a Thracian king. Perfect as architecture, it amazes with its wealth of sculptural ornaments. Caryatids below the vault, rosettes, ox heads, garlands, and colonnades. A remarkable monument of Thracian art, this tomb is the biggest sensation of ancient archaeology in the recent years. The most impressive monument from the Bulgarian National Revival period rises amidst the rugged beauty of the Rila mountain, just 120 kilometers from Sofia. Founded in the 10th century, several times destroyed and rebuilt, the Rila monastery has survived the times with the self-confidence of the most zealous guard of the Bulgarian spirit and language. Today, it still fascinates its visitors with the pure and harmonious line of the building's exquisite colonnades, arches and vaults, the spacious rooms richly decorated with murals, and the marvelous gold-plated iconostasis. The monastery's most treasured historic and artistic monuments include the 14th century Hrelio Tower, the five-domed Birth of the Blessed Virgin Church, and the intriguing monastery kitchen from the 19th century. The monastery also houses a rich museum collection of valuable old manuscripts and documents, charters and icons, an ethnographic exhibition of fabrics, jewelry, and carpets, and a library containing more than 16,000 books. In 1983, Rila Monastery was included in the UNESCO list of World Heritage. The Baba Vida Fortress, or the medieval fortress Vida, is the only fully preserved medieval castle in Bulgaria. It was used simultaneously as a military facility and a regal castle. The fortress rises on the banks of the Danube River in the northeast of the town of Vidin. From ancient times, the fortified facilities of the city have been concentrated at this place, dominating the surrounding lowlands. The Baba Vida castle survived numerous attacks and was repaired and expanded several times. Its history is more than 2,000 years old and covers various constructional and architectural periods. The Belgradic fortress is one of the best preserved strongholds in Bulgaria. The initial fortress was constructed during the time when the region was part of the Roman Empire. The rock formations in the area served as a natural protection, as fortified walls were practically only built from the northwest and southeast, with the yard being surrounded by rocks up to 70 meters high from the other sides. Initially, the Bulgarčić fortress served for surveillance and not strictly defense. Bulgarian Tsar of Vidin, Ivan Sratsimir, extended the old fortress in the 14th century, and it became one of the most important strongholds in the region. During the Ottoman conquest of Bulgaria, the fortress was captured by the Ottomans in 1396. Considerable changes to the fortress, expansion and reorganization typical for the Ottoman castle architecture of the period, were made in the early 19th century. European elements were also added to the Belgradic fortress, owing to the French and Italian engineers that participated in the expansion.